New Wi-Fi, new man.
Hey,
Let's start with that. Welcome back to the Two-Way Hockey Podcast.
New Wi-Fi, new man.
Hopefully, our connection's a little better. I fixed my Wi-Fi.
There
We
you
broke
go.
neighbor's Wi-Fi in the process, and we're sorry. But it's okay. The Rogers guy comes yesterday, and he fixes ours. But he had to tap into theirs in order to
Yeah.
get ours to work. But he forgot to reconnect theirs. So now theirs is disconnected, but ours is working great.
Hey,
so
that's great.
so it's
So, I
nice.
mean, so now we can do this podcast. So thank you,
Yeah.
Rogers guy. Appreciate your.
Yeah, Rogers guy, we appreciate it. Not a sponsor, but
No,
it's okay.
not yet.
We have a lot to talk about. It's been a busy. Like we took 4 days. We took an extra day because yesterday was family day and Brandon's dad's birthday. So happy birthday!
Yeah,
Mr.
happy belated.
Dad.
Yeah.
So we figured we'll push it back one more day, get this one out. But then a bunch of shit happened yesterday too, and it just added to the list that we need to get over. So we'll start with the stars of the week because we're back to that this week. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I can go first.
All right, fire it up.
So I'll pick Andrei Vesnilevsky, as I've grown fond to call him. He had 3 games this week, 3 wins this week, of course, with a 9.49 save percentage.
Yep.
Chips it in with a 1.65 or 6.4, goals against average, and he's actually won his last 8 starts, which is
Not bad.
on fire.
He's okay.
No, yeah, he's been pretty all right. Nothing to write home about, but yeah.
We'll mention Tampa here because we kind of mentioned them last week, and we don't need to do a big piece on them.
No, absolutely.
But they have now won 11 in a row.
Yeah.
I saw the craziest stats. So Dmitry Filipovich, I think I've quoted him about 45 times on this podcast, but he tweets out yesterday, he goes, the Bruins are 13-4-2 in 2020, and the Lightning have still gained 11 points on them in the standings.
Right.
That's fucking
They're
nuts.
unreal.
They've lost 4 times in regulation,
Yeah.
and the Lightning have gained 11 points on them.
Yeah. So because they've won 10 in a row again this season, they become only the second team to do it.
Yeah.
Which is also the Bruins is the other team to do it, but they haven't done it since 1970-71.
Oh shit.
So to go on a stretch of 10 wins in a row twice in a season is
Crazy.
what they just accomplished. Like they're on fire and only getting better, as I'm sure we'll either talk about.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
We got a few trades to go over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a bad pick. I mean,
But yeah, man. But
the
having
goalie on the
your
hottest team in the
goalie,
league.
having your goalie playing on his head,
Yeah, it helps.
absolutely.
It helps them too because when he was playing like trash, they sucked.
Oh yeah.
But
And like
now
Curtis
it's better.
McElhinney, like I watched the game last night against Colorado, and like he had some pretty weak goals. Yeah, he's all right. But if you're a good enough shooter, then you're getting it by
You're
him.
gonna beat him.
Yeah, but Vesnilevsky, when he came in, and as he's been in for the last 8 games,
Yeah, he's been good
for you. Yeah,
He's been
good, great, grand, wonderful.
Yeah, I had Leon Draisaitl, kind of the safe pick, I guess, because it's not very hard.
Yeah.
But the guy was on fire. He had 4 games, 3 goals, 7 assists for 10 points in those 4 games.
So
the craziest part about this
is
that they lost McDavid.
Goes out.
So he played this entire week without McDavid. You think this team's gonna suck? And nope, they go 3-1 in the 3-0-1. Sorry, in the 4 games they played.
And
like
Draisaitl chips in with
10 points. Yeah, maybe forget McDavid for Hart. This might be Draisaitl for Hart this year because that guy.
Yeah, man.
That guy's flying.
Dude, yeah. Well, like he's used to it with the international game, right? He goes to Germany, and there's no realistically anybody there, so he's kind of used to going up against top talent, and if not more talent.
Kuhnhackl.
Yeah.
Is there other
Tobias Reeder? I think like Toby Reeder is another one, maybe. Yeah. Thomas Greiss in net, but like you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's it.
Adler, I think is he's
no.
Who is it? Oh, is it Ehrhoff? Maybe I can't remember.
Oh, Christian Ehrhoff might be.
Yeah,
you're right.
There's a couple, but
so I guess he is used to carrying teams,
right?
But not like this. This is crazy. He now leads the league in points by like a solid margin over McKinnon and Pasta too.
Yeah.
See if I can get it up real quick. 95 points.
Wow.
And he's Pasta and McKinnon are tied for second at 82.
Right. But if McDavid comes back, man, I think he could catch that.
He's at 81.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know if he makes a 14-point swing on
McDavid's
a
at 80.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if he makes a 14-point swing on his own guy.
Let's do it.
That's crazy.
Let's pull for it.
Like, so Draisaitl's at 95 points in 59 games. He still has 23 to go. 23 more games. He's got 95 already. Yeah. Crazy.
Doing well.
Crazy. Guy's doing incredible. Yeah, so those are our stars of the week. Hopefully you disagree because it's more fun when you do. But it's gonna be hard. It's hard too this week because they're just kind of they were both good. Just so dominant. Yeah. It was crazy. We don't have a lot of Leaf stuff, so we could probably fly through that really quickly.
Absolutely.
Jake Muzzin talks are heating up, according to pretty much every insider on every channel.
Which is a good sign. I like that.
Yeah, I think Elliot Friedman tweeted or talked about it first on the air. Or maybe Bob McKenzie, one of the two, and then Pierre LeBrun actually tweeted out and said it's likely to be 4 years, $5.5 million a year. I really like that. I don't like it if you start getting into like 6.5, 7, and if that's the number, I'd probably walk away. But he is a really good defenseman, and he shores up the.
Yeah, he's done a lot for the team since coming in, I think, and
yeah,
if I almost think that that's kind of the price now though. For some, and to expect that it's going to be lower is a little tougher, right? Because I think that's what happened with Marner, right? Everybody came in expecting he was going to take a discount and didn't. So to expect that Muzzin's going to come in and say,
it's not even really a discount.
I know it's not a discount, but it's what does he think is fair, right? What does he think is going to be? And if he's getting paid short term, then does he want more money? Would you have to go more into like 5 years then?
I think 6.5, 7 is where Muzzin should sit. It's just I don't really feel like paying that to a guy who's 30 and kind of looks like he's coming down.
You could maybe get him under just 6, like make a little deal there.
5.5. 5.5's perfect.
Yeah, 5.5, but even closer to the 6 number if you wanted to.
5 maybe.
If you needed to, right, and maybe a little more, an extra year on it, right, just to get that security with the team, right.
Yep.
Like 4 years is not a bad deal by any stretch, but like to give him that extra year, especially a guy who's I think he's about 30, 31, 32.
He's 30 right now.
Oh, 30. Okay, yeah. So
he's played a lot of hockey in his career.
Right, and that's so he's done a lot of playoff runs with the Kings and now with the Leafs that he's been here last year, right? And
plays a physical game.
Absolutely, yep.
He's played with Drew Doughty for most of his career, so he plays 40 minutes a night. It's just tough, right? Like he's a guy that's kind of it's getting to him a little bit, and hopefully he can come out of it and keep playing for 4 years. That'd be great if he plays at the level he's at. But you just it worries me a little bit. But 5.5 I can deal with.
I think that's the price right now though, for defensemen.
Yeah, that's fair. Other Leaf news: Andreas Johnsson is now out 8 weeks with he went for knee surgery. What kind of knee surgery do you get that keeps you out for only 8 weeks?
Not entirely sure. I've never had knee surgery myself, so
but like
never looked into the 8-week surgery.
Every knee surgery I've ever heard of was like 3 to 4 months, 4 to 6 months, 8 to 10. Like
they just like, is there like a cleaning or something? I don't know, man. Do you get in there? You just go, hey.
I don't. Just kind of just brush
knee surgery. Around. It's like operation. You just kind of take it out real quick and
they
then
pulled out the bone.
Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, we got something here. We're good. 7 weeks, we'll get you back on 8. Yeah.
Pulled an elastic out of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but
weird.
So the big benefit to having him go on LTIR is that between him and Cody Ceci, they have, I think it's 9.4 or 7.9, or they have a ton of $1 million, essentially. I don't remember that exactly. I wrote it in an article, but that they can use all that money to bring guys in. And a couple of the guys I wrote in my article are already off the board, or one of them anyways. But there's still a ton of options out there that they can go after without losing guys from their team now, which I think is a huge plus. Because I think there's not a lot of holes. There's no holes up front on this team, realistically. Like, the team is really good up front.
Yeah, but at least from the standpoint of like your scorers are scoring, and your guys are trying to play defense. I think you need to get more solid on the back end. Absolutely,
you could use I put Blake Coleman in the article because obviously Blake Coleman's really good on both ends of the ice.
But the price of him, I think, was
way too high.
Yeah, like that was
what the Leafs could do.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like I understand.
We'll get to him in a bit, but I also put Joe Thornton in there because Joe Thornton's really defensively aware. I
So,
think he'd be a great fourth line center
but
if
Joe
you know.
Thornton has a no movement clause, so he could decide that he wants to
Yeah,
ride this out in San Jose, or like I
sure.
think I mentioned it earlier, Boston would be a
Yeah,
really
but
interesting spot for him to go.
he's from the area, right? Like I think I don't know if he's an Ontario boy, but either
Okay.
way, like he's an Canadian kid. He might want to come play for the Leafs. I don't know. I don't really know the full story on Joe Thornton, so I'm not going to speculate. But like, if
I
he
just
waves it, it's
he's
a
played
good
like
guy to
also
bring
like
in.
he's played a lot of hockey, right?
He
And it
has.
depends
He
on
is
if he
no
wants.
longer.
Like,
He's
does he
no
want to
longer.
go for another run, and
It,
especially in a conference where you're going to be competing every
yeah,
single
but
round because
if he's out there thinking this is his last year, that might be his move, though, right? Like, I want to win a cup. Maybe this is how I do it.
does he
It's
think it's his
probably
last
not.
year?
It's probably not the best. I might be, man. He's what 40.
He always comes back. I think he might be just shy of 40, if not 40.
Well, he's played in 4 decades, so he's got to be.
He's played in
Oh, he's
four
40.
decades.
He's
He's
40.
40. Yeah.
So he's getting up there. I don't know. He might have a year or two left. He could be Zdeno Chara, but
Yeah, he's still playing. San Jose said as long as you want to come back, we'll save you a
yep.
spot. You kind of tell us how long in the term. So maybe, but maybe he doesn't feel like he'll be beneficial
No,
to
I don't know.
any other team, right? To play.
Maybe not. But
I guess we'll
yeah,
see.
who knows? I think he'll want to go win a cup somewhere, and I think he'll probably. There's a chance someone brings him in. I think it'd be cool to see Toronto do it, have him on the fourth. But I don't know. I doubt that's a move they make.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's still options out there, and that cap relief of having Janssen out really helps.
Yeah.
As much as it hurts to have Janssen out, you have a lot of depth wingers that you could put in there.
Yeah. And if we're looking like for me, a name that's kind of been nicely out there is Alec Martinez. He's been kind of
Martinez
sitting
is
there,
on
and yeah, and there's always been a connection. Well, obviously a connection between LA and
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder what the price for him would be.
Yeah, I have
Just to go.
I had him on my list of guys.
Yep.
Damian
Yep.
Severson was another one.
Yep.
Um,
There's New Jersey seems to be selling some pieces
yep,
off.
yep, hard.
But yep.
Dylan DeMello's another one that could be an interesting piece
Right.
out of Ottawa.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ottawa, we played them
Okay.
the other day. Timothy Liljegren got his first NHL point against them.
As well as another first Leaf point. Can't remember his name.
Igor Korchkov scored his first career goal.
Yeah.
Yes. Sunday against Buffalo.
Right.
That took a
So
lot.
two first points there. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? They're just so the young kids. Nice to see them getting points.
Yeah, it's nice. I hope Timothy Liljegren's a big piece of this team going forward, but
yeah,
who knows? We'll see. I think he's looked okay. Good puck mover, pretty good in his own end for what he is.
And he's with he's playing with Sandin, so they're both kind of figuring that out at the same time, right? You don't usually see a coach that's willing to pull two guys up from the minors and say, "Hey, play together, learn together." We like it down there.
They were real reluctant about it too. Like it took forever to get them both back up, and I'm glad they did. I think they look good.
Yeah.
All right, on to the crazy shit. Ooh. So, we recorded on Thursday.
I believe so.
I think it was Thursday. In that time, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 4 days, we missed Zach Cashin trying to chop a man in half in the Tampa Bay game. And at the time, Brandon and I were arguing about it. Well, not arguing. We're kind of just discussing about what we thought.
We were in agreement.
Yeah, we thought what the suspension might be. And Brandon said, it's got to be at least 10 to 15. And I'm like, I agree. That's correct. It won't be, but that's correct. So I said 5 to 8, I think I said. I'm like, it'll be a 5 to 8 game suspension because they're soft and they've done nothing right. So suspension comes out the next day. 7 games for Zach Cashin. And I haven't actually gone off. I haven't really talked to a lot of people about this one yet. And I'm still angry about it. And this has been like 3 days in the making.
I don't even know if I can talk about it. It was a real tough one, real tough loss.
It's an absolute joke. He kicked a guy in the chest. He cocks back his leg and whoa, into the guy's chest.
Yeah, so his reasoning that he gave was it was a reaction play where his leg was pinned and he was trying to get free. So I watched the tape back. His right leg is free on the right hand side to the point where he pulls it back all the way.
Yeah.
And puts a Gerard Butler strike through the chest. Yeah.
This is Sparta.
Yes, but for those who say it didn't cause damage,
who gives a shit?
Why? Why does it have to cause damage?
It shouldn't have to, man. If you're at what you played hockey, I played hockey. At any point in your career, did you ever think, "Hey, I'm gonna kick this dude"?
No.
Let alone kick this dude with the blade part of your skate.
Exactly.
It is not a hockey play by any means.
You get those sharpened too. So NHL players get them sharpened. Some of them in between periods.
Yeah.
Let alone like games.
Yeah.
So
the biggest thing for me is guys are getting like Tom Wilson got 20 games for some hits he threw.
Dude.
And those are hockey plays that just went wrong. And
Nate
he got tired on someone.
Nate Schmidt got 20 games for PEDs for taking performance-enhancing drugs. And
but, my point is, there's guys getting double digits for hockey hits that ended up bad.
Yeah.
So this is not a hockey play. This has no spot in the game.
No, absolutely.
You're kicking a man in the chest.
He was also suspended not only this year, but
this is
also
his eighth suspension.
8th or 9th, I believe. I think he had 8 prior.
It was 8 because it's one more suspension than he got games in this suspension.
Right.
Absolute joke. George Parros needs to go. It's final.
What are you doing for the players?
It gets worse.
This is what I don't understand. Right.
So Evander Kane the next day gets suspended 3 games for a quote-unquote elbow that he threw against, I don't even remember who the hell it was. Because it didn't matter. The guy was fine. He skated away. It was literally, he tried to pin him against the boards. We watched it together. Goes to pin him against the boards. The guy ducks, and his elbow catches him in the head.
When you slow it down, it absolutely looks with vicious intent, as some plays do, because of the way that they hit each other. But I believe we even mentioned the height difference between Evander Kane and who he was hitting. So to get to that level, he had to put himself in a vulnerable position.
Exactly.
And I understand that, yes, it maybe needed to be penalized in that moment because it was
maybe a fine, because the Zdeno Chara cross-check was 2 days before that, and he got fined. I don't even know if we talked briefly about the cross-check on the podcast last time, but essentially, Chara just tried to take Gallagher's head off with the cross-check.
That's worth $5,000.
That's a $5,000 fine, apparently, because that's a hockey play.
And if you put your skate through somebody, it's 7 games. And if you put your elbow right at the back of someone's head and unintentionally when they come down to your level.
Yeah, that's whatever. Evander Kane had some fun tweets about it, though, because so the first one, he tweets almost an identical play. What's his name here? Lawson Krause, goes in and elbows Charlie McAvoy square in the temple. Exact same play, but a little more vicious. And Charlie McAvoy goes down, and that got nothing. So Evander Kane tweets out, "But this doesn't get anything. Tell me what the difference is, please." And then he retweets the Zdeno Chara cross-check, and he goes, "But I thought this was a 1-game playoff suspension." No, because it was last year for him.
Right.
And then he puts out a statement, and his statement is the greatest thing I've seen this year. He goes, "The fact the NHL Department of Player Safety, headed by George Parros, continue to pick and choose who and what they suspend is ridiculous. There have been countless incidents of the same nature through this season and past seasons that have gone unsuspended or fined. No one person can tell you what is or isn't a suspension in today's game. It's become a complete guess. There's a major lack of consistency with the NHL Department of Player Safety, a completely flawed system in so many ways. From the suspensions to the appeal rights, it's baffling to me how we as players agreed to this. You can't continue to give some players a pass and throw the book at others. There has to be an outside third party making these decisions to remove the bias that transpires in this department, headed by George Parros. None of it makes any sense." Thank you, Evander Kane, for being the one pro that has said what everyone is saying around the league.
I am surprised they did not slap him with more. My goodness.
But he's right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to know?
They probably know he's wrong? Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to know you're wrong. You don't say anything.
If
you have nothing back to say, you have no suspension, you have no grounds.
If George Parros isn't fired at the end of this year, then Gary Bettman officially becomes the second worst commissioner in sports. Nobody's going to top Rob Manfred in baseball right now. He's doing a terrible job.
That's really bad.
Absolute joke. Like everything he's done with this Astros thing, he has now cemented himself as the worst commissioner in sports. Roger Goodell is
really
like,
bad. I was going to say there were really bad commit. Like all three of
Rob
four.
Manfred just jumped over all of them.
Adam Silver is just.
Silver's doing a great job.
Oh my goodness, he should be called Adam Gold. Really, he is just the golden child of them all. Like, well done.
He's the only one that does a good job.
Thank you for keeping the humanity within sports.
Yeah, let's get 4 Adam Silvers for all these leagues because right now it's bad.
This is terrible.
But yeah, if Parros still has the job at the end of the year, then Bettman's number 2 on the list easily because
it's just
it's embarrassing.
A player is gonna have to die, unfortunately, and it's scary that you have to get to that.
Yep. The thing with the Cashin thing too, people are like, oh, what if it slips up and hit his neck? That's not even the point. Like, if you're kicking a guy, I don't care if he slipped up and hurt him or not. Like, you kicked him.
What if you hit his chest? What if you hit his stomach?
There's still
stuff in your stomach?
Chest pad shifts a bit and he catches here.
Right.
Like, you're full force kicking a dude with the bottom part of your blade. There's 2 sharp edges of that.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. I don't understand what more he needed to do.
And just 7 games is not enough.
I don't get it.
And especially, you've had X amount of suspensions before. It really just.
I don't even remember who it was. It was a little while ago, but he like stomped on a guy, got 20 something for that.
Right.
I'm like, he stomped a skate. You're not going to hurt anything in the skate. Like, yeah, you might break his foot or something, but you're not going to cut it. Like, the odds of you cutting through a skate are slim.
But still, though.
Yeah, and you got 20 for that.
They
did it right.
Right.
Like, this is the exact same thing. Like, you're probably not going to cut through a chest protector. They're pretty solid material.
Doesn't matter though. But
that's not the point. Exactly.
You do that out in the street with a blade just as sharp.
Yeah,
that's a deadly weapon.
You're going to jail.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. Whether you killed a man or not, you're probably going to prison.
I will see you in the hockey rink. That is it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't.
All of my enemies.
Shout out for what's his name, George Parros, for being the worst NHL employee there is. It's embarrassing. That's brutal. We got to move on because we still have a lot of shit to get to.
Yeah.
The refs have been bad. I don't know if we want to touch that.
Just briefly, man. They've been I watched. It was Carolina versus. I'm trying to remember who they played, but they were completely getting hosed with calls. Oh, we got a little visitor, don't we? Yes, Tulo. The main man.
Yeah. Refs.
So they were the Carolina was playing, and let me pull it up here in a second, but they were playing, and just every time that there should have been a call, there wasn't. There was weak calls going against them, and like it's just like they kept playing. It was against Edmonton, sorry, that's right, when they won in overtime. They just they could not beat Edmonton or the refs at all. They couldn't stay. I can't remember how many opportunities they had on the power play, Edmonton, but it just it was real tough. And then even Claude Julien said it from Montreal. He was really tough because it was like beating two opponents out there.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people have been complaining about like the Leaf games too. Like there's been some bad reffing in those ones. I missed Saturday's game. I heard it, but I didn't see all of it. And then Sunday's game, I was at work, so I caught bits and pieces, but I didn't see any of it. Right. But from what I've heard, like there's been some rough calls. I saw the Jake Muzzin phantom trip, we'll call it.
Okay.
That's a tough call. I mean, like even just looking at that, I'm like, there was a really good angle that showed the ref that called the play, and he was standing at the far blue line, and there was four guys in front of the play, and apparently he saw it clear as day to call it a trip, which I think is a joke. I think it's brutal that refs don't have to face any repercussion for their actions. Like they can be horrible, and
but like it's also, I believe, for maybe not for this season if you don't see it, but you might see like a silent change in the offseason. You don't usually hear a lot about the referees.
Yeah, but I mean that's the worst part is that you don't, and like these guys can do whatever they want, and they'll be bad, but there's not really a ton of like their name's not getting dragged through the mud. Can you name me 3 NHL refs?
I can name you like 1.
Yeah. Well, like I know a couple names.
Wes McCullough is the only
McCauley,
one. That's it, because he's got some personality. Yeah.
I know Garrett Rank only because he's also a pro golfer.
Okay.
I wouldn't really be able to recognize him as a ref.
Nope.
Kelly McCrimmon, I think, is still a
Nope.
ref.
No,
That's
couldn't
it,
even
right?
name me
Like,
that. Yeah.
but I can name you a ton of MLB umpires because they do interviews and they kind of get put on the spot a little bit
I
when they
can't
screw
name.
up.
I can't name any sports referees because it doesn't
No,
matter.
but the
Maybe
point
the
is like
UFC. The
there's
UFC
more.
referees is about it.
They introduced them, right? So that's a
They
little
always
different.
introduce.
But
Yeah,
like
it gets personality.
I just feel like there's a little more accountability with some other leagues than there are with the NHL. I just think there's no accountability with these refs, so they don't really
Right.
need to be good. They can just
Right.
police the game how they want, and if they decide this team's winning tonight, that's how it's going to go. And
Yeah.
it sucks. It's
But
around.
like,
It's not even. This isn't even just me being a biased Leaf fan on this.
right.
I'm wearing a Vancouver
I was
shirt,
gonna
so
say, yeah, Vancouver.
it's
Probably got it in a beer
just
can.
no. I actually got this at the SVP for $9.99.
Wow.
Yeah, not bad, eh? Yeah, so it's not me being a biased Leaf fan. It's like this is happening around the league, and clearly Claude Julien sees it too, and
Yeah, I
was
think
willing
it's
to take
even.
what was it, a $10,000 fine?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I think that's if
But
you're
I
willing
think
to lose 10
that's the
grand
price
for it.
of it now. Yeah, that's what players and coaches feel they have to do, right? And
Yeah.
like the referees missing calls also, I feel like influences a lot of like now even the suspensions, right? If
Yeah.
there was a more vicious call in the Cassian play, like no doubt there should have been. It could have been 10 plus games, but I feel like because there was no call, they kind of said, "Oh, well, you know what? There's no call. There's no intent, or sorry, there's no injury." It's just like he kind of stackpiled some reasons to say, "Well, here's only 7 games."
Yeah.
So it just I feel like that also influences what happens when it comes to player safety reviewing plays.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they'll hopefully get it better. I mean, they have I'm sure that they hear from their bosses, right? There's no way that they do go unpunished.
hmm
I think NHL has been pretty fair to adjust some rules when it comes to player safety in the off season, even if they find that the referees aren't aren't able to do so, right?
Yeah.
They're usually able to step in because player safety has been a really big I don't know campaign
Yeah.
for the NHL for a while now.
Yeah. Except for the Department of Player Safety.
Except for when it comes down to
They don't they don't really
opinion
care.
calls, yeah, no.
The Department of Player Unsafety.
Uh, as the moment stands, yeah, but like it
Yeah.
used to be, right?
At some
There was a
point,
point where it was safe.
yeah, a little bit safer. I don't know. Moving on. There's
Moving
been some
upwards and on.
trades.
So ooh,
There's been
trades.
a few trades. The first one I don't think moves the needle at all. But Andy Green was traded from the New Jersey Devils to the Islanders for David Quenneville and a second rounder. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay, Andy Green, cool. He just fits their system exactly, and I think
Because
they're
Lou Lamoriello drafted him in New Jersey, pulls him over to the Islanders, which means like so he doesn't really have to move. He doesn't really have to do like it's a short drive. I think
yeah.
to get from
It's just
stadium to
it's
stadium.
a
Yeah,
pretty boring trade for me. It's like
but
you're
you
just
know
gonna
what though? I think it kind of helps. It kind of helps the Islanders bring in a little more of a presence for a playoff run and a solid D man back there, right? Like Andy Green is solidly just like he was a captain of the New Jersey Devils, right? So he obviously brings something to the team and Lou Lamoriello to not only draft him and then to trade for him however many years later and bring him in.
Yeah, he obviously likes him. It doesn't push the needle for me. I'm like
No,
it makes the team the exact same.
but the Islanders,
and
I
I'm like,
think, are the
okay,
same. Yeah,
great.
but I think that's what they want it to be, right? They seem to trust in their team
and their systems. Their systems are great, and they're really
Yep.
good at winning games, but they're so fucking boring.
Oh yeah,
I just yeah.
but they have a lot of money, a lot of stupid money in some places.
Yeah,
On
a
goalie,
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so that happened first. And then Tampa Bay surprised me a little bit on Sunday, bringing in Blake Coleman for Nolan Foote and Vancouver's first round pick this year. You don't like it.
I mean,
I don't hate it.
It was just like I just really surprised. I thought it was a lot, right? It's a pretty big prospect, young prospect, and
Yeah,
I know that I
Nolan
gotta
Foote
wait
was
till
really good.
Right. And then like the first round pick, which is Vancouver's, which is I think is actually going to be higher, obviously, than Tampa Bay's.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
giving up which I understand you say it's
It's
not yours, but
still
it's another. And
obviously it's a first, but like for me, what I said for Tampa Bay, this is essentially trading JT Miller and
what
who was the other one? Nolan Foote for Blake Coleman, which I think is still a high price,
but you're
obviously.
but you've already won what 11 games in a row. Like for me, I love
Yeah,
the
but
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like
sure, but
you're
if
just
you're
dominating teams now, and I know he adds to it. Like Blake Coleman
I was
has
just gonna
been
say
great. Like
they didn't remove anything from their lineup, right?
no, he's gonna be fast, and
Mm-hmm.
well, he didn't play last night against Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know where he's actually gonna slot in for this team.
I put him second, third line, depending on how they want to play him. He's got 21 goals this year. Like he
I
can
know, man,
score.
but they have a lot of
He's
guys that can score. That wasn't their
right.
issue.
The big thing I saw in him was his possession game's not very good, but I think in Tampa Bay he doesn't need to possess the puck very much because his line mates possess the puck so much that he
Hmm.
just needs to be open and play defense, and that's
Yeah,
something he's really good at. So I
yeah.
think he's a really good fit for that team. I think he
It
makes them
was,
a
yeah,
Stanley
it's a
Cup
trade
contender.
that, yeah, absolutely. Like it's a trade that solidifies himself within the Boston
Yeah.
conversation, the Pittsburgh again, the Washington. Like
Yep.
to get through those teams, you're definitely that much deeper than they are, and I think you kind of are starting to put yourself atop them to look at
The one
another run.
the one thing it did solidify was the fact that this year's trade deadline is going to be tough because that is a
Yeah,
lot for a guy that I thought was in the middle of the pack,
yeah,
and you got a first rounder for him and a damn good prospect.
yeah,
Like as much as I think it was an okay trade for Tampa Bay.
yeah.
It is a lot to give up,
But that's what a
and
lot of teams right now are giving up, unfortunately, right? Like I
yeah,
see. So does
it
he have any term left
continued
on his contract, right?
2 years, I think, if
Okay,
I'm not
right. So yeah,
mistaken.
right. But then like it started with Zucker and
Yeah,
Pittsburgh. A first
yeah,
rounder
Zucker
went
was a
there,
scary trade there. Like there's been some
but it's working out, man.
wild deals.
Pittsburgh's right there on Washington.
Yeah, then it just kept on going with the Tyler Toffoli deal for me because
Right.
like Toffoli, he's been good at times, and I think he can be a good scorer.
Yeah.
Also, congratulations on picking one of the guys to go. That was your pick. Was it 2 episodes ago when we said yeah.
Believe so. Yeah.
I'm
Last
still
episode.
I
Yep.
think I'm 0 for I think I'm 0 for 3 on mine. I think I said Pajot,
Yep.
DeMello,
Yep.
and Joe Thornton
Yeah. You
were
were
my three
loving
most
the
likely
Ottawa
guys.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
said Tyler Toffoli.
they still might, but
Yeah.
yeah. So Toffoli went for Tim Schaller, not a great NHL player, but an NHL player nonetheless.
Yep.
Tyler Madden, who I didn't know much about, so I texted Nick, and Nick said he's a really good offensive guy. He's got a lot of ups. Let me pull up the text real quick because he had his stats too. Okay, so he's 20 years old. He's a third rounder. He's got 39 points in 27 games in the NCAA this year,
That's pretty good.
which it's really good.
Young prospect. Yep.
My only counter argument to that was that like a lot of NCAA guys don't work out, so
Right. But
he
you're
could
getting
be
a
one of
young
those guys.
prospect, and
Yeah,
Tyler
it's
Toffoli wasn't working out.
no.
You get
So
rid of
and
money.
then on top of that, they got Vancouver's 2022nd. So Vancouver doesn't have a first or a second in this year's draft, which is frightening.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, oh, and then on top of that, they threw in a conditional 2022 fourth. I don't know what the conditions are on it, and
Okay.
I really don't care to look it up. But even still, it's another draft
But
pick. That's a lot.
yeah, but I think that Vancouver has their young pieces. You know what I mean? They like
Do
the
they
Pedersen.
though?
Yeah, but they like Hughes on the back end. They like
Okay,
Pedersen.
so
They
yeah,
like Besser.
they have Pedersen, Besser, Hughes,
Right.
and
But that's okay.
continue.
They
Like,
love it. That's exactly
yeah,
what they're rolling with, and then bringing the veteran presence around there, right? Because you still have Horvat, who's their captain. They brought in Tyler Myers in free agency. They have a chance to bring in some pieces if they wanted.
yeah.
But
Obviously I like Vancouver
I was
and I
gonna
like their
say
pieces,
Tyler Toffoli, I
but
believe, is only on a 1 year deal, right? So like he has 1 year left in his deal.
yeah, the best
So
tweet I saw came, I don't remember from who, but they go, "This is a move that you make when you're one player away from winning the Stanley Cup, not one player away from making the playoffs." And this is kind of exactly what it was, because like Toffoli makes them better, obviously.
Yeah,
but
but
it
that
doesn't make
division
them a
is
cup contender.
but that division is a real toss up. I think is what
Sure,
they're seeing, and that if
sure,
they
you need
can,
to try and win that division, but
if
you're mortgaging a lot for that. Like
this is
this is a
Vancouver though,
like
Vancouver is
this is one of Vancouver's few prospects. Like there's not many on their list that you can look at and be like, yeah, this guy's going to be good someday.
I think the issue was that they had a taste of what the top of the division looked like and are still trying to convince themselves that they're right there and still trying to say to the fans, yeah, we are
Yeah,
still competing. And that's why you almost have to make a trade like that. Like your arm is a little bent and the Kings go, okay, look, we're not going to give you a first, but we'll give you, oh, the condition I believe is if he signs back because he's a free agent. So if he
if
re-signs
he
in Vancouver,
resigns,
then the
then I just
fourth.
don't know. I don't know what the fourth becomes.
I think it just
Maybe a
becomes,
third.
I thought it just was the fourth.
Is it? And if he doesn't, it just doesn't show up.
I don't think it doesn't show up. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, maybe that makes sense. That might make sense. But like, if you
But
look at Vancouver, they have some pieces.
yeah,
So
there's
according to NHL, Tyler Madden was their fifth ranked prospect
right.
behind Nils Hoglander, who was really good in the World Junior.
Oh
So I
yeah,
guess you still have him. Olli Juolevi, who like he just hasn't really been that good.
but he's still
He's supposed to be.
he's like what 22. I think they
I
drafted him as like an 18-year-old. So
20.
like
He was 21 to start the year, but
right, so he's gonna like he's still young as a
he's
defenseman, man.
not.
And you're not in
But
a,
he hasn't been good in the AHL, and that's kind of concerning.
but he's still
Like
got time, man. He's 21, like you said. Like, dude, this is
I
a
know, but like this
you
is a league where you guys are coming in a lot younger and succeeding at 21, 22,
right.
23
But
years old.
I just don't think that we can actually count him out yet.
No, I'm not.
On
I'm not
Montreal.
counting him out, but he's one of those that you're like,
You
is he or
sound like
isn't
you're
he?
counting him out. You look, man. He's their
Okay,
second ranked prospect. Give the man a break.
third,
A London Knight, third rank.
third rank,
A London
technically
Knight
behind
prospect or
Podkolzin.
London
I,
Knight, yeah, prodigy there. All right.
for Vancouver fans, and including myself, I hope that Levy turns out. But like, it's a lot to gamble on the fact that now we are very limited on prospects, and we got Tyler Toffoli to speak for it. And it's not like you can
Right.
draft this year to pick anyone up, because in the deepest draft in a long time, they have no first or second round pick.
Right.
That's
I mean,
kind of
given
scary.
circumstance though, if they miss the playoffs, right? Oh, maybe
Yeah.
that's the stipulation. Is if they miss. But I know that one of the picks though.
No. The fourth is definitely if he resigns, but I
So
just wasn't sure if he moves up.
so the first round pick though that
Second
got
round.
sent to no, but the first round pick in Tampa Bay's deal from Vancouver, if Vancouver misses the playoffs, that goes to New Jersey.
It goes there regardless, doesn't it?
No, it goes to New Jersey.
Wait, what?
So when Vancouver traded for JT Miller, they sent a first round pick, but there was a condition on it that if Vancouver missed the playoffs this year, it actually became New Jersey's first round pick. I guess from a prior deal.
Like Vancouver sends them New Jersey's first round pick?
No, Vancouver sends their first round pick to New Jersey.
Well, they do that regardless, because Tampa traded that first round pick to New Jersey.
There is a stipulation on it though.
I can look it up, but I'm pretty sure regardless, it's what do you call it? It's Tampa. I'm pretty sure regardless, Tampa Bay traded Vancouver's first round pick to New Jersey.
No, they did. But that's what I'm saying though,
Right.
is that if Vancouver misses the playoffs though, that first round pick, there's like a condition on that first round pick.
I'll pull it up. Let me see. Okay, so the condition traded away. Here we go. Conditional. Ooh, what the hell is a conditional pick this year? I am not finding any of the conditions on these things, but
They just say condition. Everybody puts conditions.
Let's
It's funny how in the league today everybody puts conditions on picks. Like,
okay.
if we miss the playoffs, yeah.
So if the Canucks do not make the playoffs in 2019-20, the first round pick will transfer to a 2021 first round pick instead.
Right, because that pick I believe goes to New Jersey instead if they miss the playoffs. So that's why it'd have to go. They'd have to change another pick, like the next year's.
So maybe Tampa would give them their pick instead. This is a lot of figuring out to do.
I think basically what would happen is that because Vancouver's actual conditional pick this year would go to New Jersey, then they would give the 2021 pick to Tampa, which would then go back in this trade.
Oh, wait, hold on. I was reading the wrong conditions. So in that one, the conditions of okay. So basically, Canucks miss the playoffs, then the pick changes from this year's first to next year's first,
and
then next
goes,
year's first goes to New Jersey as opposed to this year's first going to New Jersey.
Yeah,
that was a long road to get there.
Yeah.
But...
Isn't that crazy?
All right, we got it now, so we're good.
So really, Vancouver still gets their pick if they miss the playoffs.
If they miss the playoffs, which is
I think
fine.
that's why this is kind of a deal where, like, Tyler Toffoli, if you don't help them make the playoffs, or let's say you like, so he doesn't, and then they get worse in this division, then you get your first round pick back. You don't have to sign Toffoli back.
Yeah.
And then you have money.
You just lose your second.
You just lose your second round.
You
pick.
traded your second to try and make the playoffs and fail.
Yeah.
It's not horrible.
These conditions
honestly,
make it a fail. Like, they give you a safety net to miss the playoffs.
It's
I
okay.
think.
Yeah, I think Kurt and I were talking about it last night, and this is a team that could surprise some people in the playoffs. Like Jacob Markstrom's a really good goaltender.
Yeah,
and he's kind of getting slept on a little bit.
Moments. Yeah, and
I think
they have a really good. I think they just need more scoring is the issue. They need some. They need more than just Besser and Pedersen to put it in right. Like that's
I think
two can only do so much.
They have Bo, they have JT Miller,
but you have to give Bo, I think, someone to score with.
Bo needs somebody with. Obviously, Jake Virtanen's not enough. Jake Virtanen's good, but he's not.
Hopefully, Tyler Toffoli helps that or can help that a little bit. I feel that's where they're going to slot him in for a little bit and see his potential in there.
But yeah,
that's certainly where his money is.
I think they're not getting their dues because that Pacific Division is horrible, like numbers wise. But I think if you look at this team and what they are, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
they're built well.
Tyler Toffoli is not like, I don't think he's a terrible player. He's like, he's not
hat trick against Colorado.
Right. In the outdoor game, the first hat trick in the outdoor game. Yeah. Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Those jerseys, by the way, I'm sorry to say this, ugly. Everybody's outfit was
the Colorado ones.
Man, the whole get up of it.
I think
though.
You're wrong.
The jerseys themselves maybe look good. When you put the whole ensemble together with the helmet that looked like it was Captain America's A.
I love that helmet. That's awesome. That thing's sweet.
No wonder Tyler Toffoli got 3. Like, everyone was so dazed in his helmet. Oh my God! Look at this chrome. Like, why was it chrome?
I didn't like the Kings one, but I like the.
I hated both. I hated both.
I'm on the wrong side of that, but I love.
I hate it. No, they both sucked. I hope they do better next year.
they won't. Yeah. So that's all the trades that have happened so far. Our luck, someone's going to get traded at like 3:00 today. It's currently 1:30, so
if not,
we'll see.
Already, we'll see. I'm looking through right now to see if anyone's.
Yeah, nothing's popped up on my phone, so
no, just your breeze and stuff. That's it.
Yep. We have a little bit on McDavid. We don't have much to say left on it, but McDavid went down. He's coming back soon now. I think he's only supposed to miss like 1 or 2 more games, but they're better without McDavid.
They're fine. There's no issue for you, I guess.
They're 3-0-1 in the 4 games without McDavid.
Yeah, but like I said, against the Canes, refs kind of helped them out on that one, which was a real tough game. But they're taking advantage of situations then, right? And yeah, you mentioned Draisaitl was your star of the week, so they're still plugging through without him, and he comes back and he's going to revitalize that top line again. Like, do you come back and keep them separated because Draisaitl's doing so well without him, or like does he come back and play with him because that's how great
if you're trying to make this a decent franchise, then you definitely should separate them. Like, how often does Crosby and Malkin play together?
When you need a goal.
Yeah, that's it.
And power play, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's how they should be playing this. Like, I understand you have 2 of the best players in hockey, but that's not the point. That doesn't mean you put them together so the line's incredible. Right. You separate them so you have as much depth as you can. That's how Pittsburgh's won 3 cups. On top of having other pieces, obviously, but it's one of those things. I think they're stupid to put them together.
Yeah, but they work so well, man. That's how they got to like.
That's not the point. Crosby and Malkin
81 and 95. So well.
Yeah,
but Malkin, I guess, but they're not the same.
It looks great on the surface. It should
look the same on paper, absolutely. But it's you got your Canadian and your European. Get your Canadian, get your European, get your game going.
It looks great that they're putting up so much points, but like you're not going to win in the playoffs with one line. And I'm not talking like Boston type of one line where their depth pieces are okay. This is one line where your depth pieces are not even NHLers.
No. A lot of them are just
At least
AHL,
Boston
yeah.
has like fourth liners throughout the rest of their lines. This team has
But
AHL.
they have second line. They have guys who have been second liners, even if they're on
Yeah,
the fourth
exactly.
line.
Like
Like they have
they have
veteran
some
pieces
decent
there.
pieces behind.
Dude,
Edmonton
David
has-
Backes is sitting in their AHL system right now. That's how like deep they think they are.
Yeah, he's just that bad.
But that's
Like,
but as well, right? Like it's
let
just
me pull up Edmonton's depth chart, and I'm gonna see
yeah.
how many NHLers they actually have on their team, because it is not many. I know that, because I know like I don't even remember their names. CBS. Let's go with CBS.
Jujar.
Okay, so they have the first line set right now as Leon Draisaitl centering Nugent Hopkins and Kyler Yamamoto. Yamamoto's been good.
Yeah, he's been able to keep up with them,
which is something he hasn't been able to do in the past.
No.
Technically, that'll be Connor McDavid centering that line. I don't even know this guy's first name. This next guy. G. Haas.
Yeah. Love it.
Gaten Haas. Gaten Haas. You know Gaten Haas?
I've never been.
Never heard of him.
Never been.
Never been there.
Never been there.
He's centering Sam Gagner, who I didn't even realize was still an NHLer.
Not on loan to not on loan to Toronto anymore.
No, and Alex Chason. Okay.
Yep.
That's your second line.
Love it. Or
third line is Riley Sheehan, who was Pittsburgh's fourth liner.
Right.
Barely making that team. Centering Tyler Benson, Josh Archibald.
Good for them.
And then Colby Cave centering Jujhar Khaira, Patrick Russell.
Jujhar Khaira has been a mainstay fourth line on that team for like a couple of years.
Yeah. Technically, they're missing McDavid, Neal, Cashin.
Yeah.
And now Clefbaum. I forgot to mention that. He's out for a little.
Right.
That team sucks.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. You need to have McDavid and Draisaitl on different lines, or else you're never going to succeed.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Get some depth on that team. I'm so sick of the fact that team's winning.
Yeah, but they're still finding ways to do it, man. Get your 2 points. Get your division.
You put together this trash heap of a team, and they're still winning games.
That's okay. They're taking advantage of the middle range teams that are taking them for granted, I think, and coming out hot. And yeah.
Speaking of trash heaps,
hang on. Another big injury though I think we need to mention is Mikko Rantanen went down last night.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that.
That's gonna be multiple weeks, they said.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
collar.
Yeah, looked really rough. He went down. He screamed as soon as he got into the tunnel. Like you knew it was bad. It did not look like a good play. I was watching that game.
It's a tough break for Colorado, but like it seems like McKinnon always steps up when everyone else.
As soon as they did, it was like a 3. When I started watching, I believe it was like a 3-1 game, Tampa, and they came back 3-3. It went to overtime, and pardon?
They pushed it out to you.
Yeah, man, and like so, McKinnon scored to make it 3-2. Cale Makar took a wicked wrister from the point, and it like tipped off Nichushkin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tipped right off him, but like Cale Makar looks absolutely wonderful. My goodness, the
good.
Things that he does is unbelievable, and to see him to think that he's only going to get better.
Yeah,
that's nuts. He could be in the Hart conversation in 1 year. I think. Dude, he is that good.
After McKinnon wins it 3 years in a row.
Right, but like at some point they'll give him a nod and say, "Hey, I believe that your success."
There is no reason why McDavid should be in the Hart conversation anymore.
I don't think he is this year.
No. Yeah, and I think these 4 games, I think him getting hurt was actually the worst thing for his Hart Trophy candidacy, because like they're showing that you know what? Yeah, Draisaitl's also pretty good. You don't really, it's not really one of you running the show.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of ruins your Hart Trophy candidacy.
Yeah.
Nate McKinnon, on the other hand, if you lose Nate McKinnon, you say goodbye to your playoff hopes.
You think so, though? But they still have like a pretty...
I don't think.
Well, right now,
I don't think Kadri's
injured.
Carry that whole team.
No, but like I believe Kadri's injured.
Pretty sure he was playing yesterday, but I could have sworn I saw him.
I thought he was injured, but that could have been my mistake. But now Rantanen's injured too, and they always seem to step up.
They just keep going. It does not matter.
Yeah, Yost has been having a pretty solid year there. I'm trying to believe. Yeah, Kadri was out last night, and then
until March 11th.
Yeah, and they tend to double shift McKinnon too, man. And it's crazy to see how much like he will stay on the ice and just power through whatever.
Yep.
He doesn't care.
Nope. He's incredible,
Yeah.
and he should be the Hart Trophy winner. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about that one day when we get closer to award season.
Yeah, because I'm gonna still pull for one of my favorites, the dark horse pick, but we'll leave that in suspense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For the day we do talk about it.
Okay. I was gonna say before we got in them, Minnesota Wild fired Bruce Boudreau.
Yeah.
Kind of, I get it to an extent, but like you didn't give him anything.
No,
It's a really good coach that you fired because you couldn't put together a hockey team. Is kind of what I see there, and he had them close to the playoffs.
Easiest move to make, though, I feel.
It just seems strange to me. I just
Yeah.
think your GM sucks that you fired your coach.
I just feel like for them though, they like that it's the easiest move, and it's hard to dump all that salary that they have sitting there, right? That's not really a lot of people are going for, for those contracts with the age that's accompanied with them. So
that's fair. Just a weird move for me. The funniest thing about it, Joel Quenneville got hired this year in July, I think it was, or April, July. He got hired in the summer.
July? April is not the summer, but that's all right.
I don't remember. I remember seeing there's someone, I don't know, whatever.
He got hired in Florida, though.
Regardless, he got hired this year. He's now the 16th longest tenured coach in the NHL. And you're frozen.
I'm back, though.
Ah, there he is. Regardless, Joel Quenneville now is the 16th longest tenured coach in the NHL.
Love it. I was so sad.
Joel Quenneville, who got hired this year. 16. That means there's 15 other coaches that have been fired since this summer.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I know.
It's incredible.
That's just like, it's because it's the easiest move to make now. And it seems like coaches are just like sitting there waiting for a job offer.
Coaches are getting fired because goaltenders suck this year.
Yeah, man. They're really bad. So I was actually thinking this. I watched a bit of Washington.
Yeah.
And Braden Holtby looks pretty
He's
darn
bad.
awful. Yeah.
He's bad.
I wonder if they try to move that contract beforehand or if they're just gonna have him be the goalie that. So then they have to be the goalie that they expose to Seattle.
Yeah, I don't think he's a free agent at the end of the year, though. If I'm not mistaken, like at the end of this year, he's gone. So
okay,
so let him walk. I don't really care.
Yeah, but still, man, that's
just quickly back to Minnesota. Devin Dubnyk this year, .893 save percentage.
Yeah, but Alex,
he hasn't been that bad. He hasn't been that bad since 2013-14 when he played 2 games for Nashville. Other than that. Like that's the smallest sample size he has, and that like he had 2 bad games. So
he was in Nashville. I totally forgot about that stint.
Quickly, he went Edmonton, Nashville, Arizona.
Right.
And then he was really good in Arizona.
Yeah, and then he went to Minnesota,
and then he was incredible. So other than that 1-2 game stint, he hasn't been this bad since his first year in the NHL when he had an .889 in 19 games.
He looks good,
and so you fire your.
Yeah, Alex Stalock has not looked bad at times, but Alex Stalock is no one goal. Yeah, he's a
backup. At his best is not Devin Dubnyk at his best.
No, definitely not. Shouldn't be. Well, Devin Dubnyk's best is proving to be pretty off the radar as it stands.
His best is a .936 save percentage with a 178 goals against. That's he was at his best.
Damn.
And he had a .918, .923, .918, .913. Like he's been a consistently good goaltender.
And then this year just decided
he forgot how to play goalie. That's all it is.
Hey, who knows? Maybe a change of scenery.
Yeah.
For the man, maybe
tough, man.
That's a lot of. I think he's got a lot of salary left. So,
but it just kind of sucks if you're Bruce Boudreau, you get fired because your goalie can't save a damn beach ball, and like he still has his team in an okay position for the conference they're in.
But now he gets maybe a new opportunity somewhere else. I don't think this is definitely on his last team. I couldn't see that.
That guy will find a job. It's like him and Gerard Gallant are sitting there as like 2 of the biggest fish.
Right.
Laviolette, I think, is out there too.
Right.
Or did he get hired?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Is he in Nashville?
It's no. He was in Nashville and he got fired.
Was for a bit. Okay.
Coaches are flipping and flopping every
This is what
other
I mean,
day,
though.
and I don't
Coaches are a dime a dozen, it seems, right? And
Yeah.
then when you have it also like, how it's like his Babcock's still not hired anywhere, right? And it's like,
that
what?
guy's not going anywhere.
But does some team may have
There's so many
cojones to
names.
take a
There's
risk
so
on it,
many
right?
names above Mike Babcock, even just coaching wise, that I'm just like, no.
Depends, though,
thanks.
man. There's some teams out there that are really terrible.
When's the last time Mike Babcock shown that he can be a good coach?
Dude, Detroit is one of the worst teams.
Yeah, sure. That was almost 10 years ago.
Right, but
Since
why
they've
wouldn't
been-
they just
since they
who
won a
cares?
playoff.
Just bring him back. Who cares? Just to have a
They-
coach there for a couple years.
I mean, but that's not. I don't know, man. Like,
Just to get the
if you're
fan.
gonna, if you're
but
going to
you would
hire a
get the
coach to
fan
help,
base.
if you're going to hire a coach to help build up these prospects you're coming with, Mike Babcock's not my guy.
No, but you would get the
No.
fan base back involved. You need to have at some point, you need to have some sort of draw. The
I
players
don't
that
know
are
if
doing
Mike
it now,
Babcock does that anymore.
Dylan
Man.
Larkin and Tyler Bertuzzi are your top two as it stands right now, and those guys aren't really pulling in seats.
As soon as that story came out about him and Marner, that just eliminated his chances of going to a rebuilding team. No team with budding prospects is going to be like, yeah, let's get this guy who fucking tried to destroy Marner's confidence.
Does Detroit have budding prospects?
Yeah, they have a ton. They're gonna after this year too because they suck.
Who?
Lafreniere is a name that might stick out because they're easily going to be in contention for that first overall pick, like without a doubt in my mind.
If they don't get hosed by the NHL system.
They still have Philip Zadina, who's only a second-year guy. What's his name in the minors there? Moritz Seider's there. There's a couple other names. I just don't know their depth that well.
They have like 27 points all year. They're pretty awful.
They're bad, but their prospects that aren't on the team right now are good.
I don't know.
Which is, you can look it up if you want.
I'll look it up
Just
after.
saying, I don't know.
We can talk about
Their
it.
prospect pool.
We can
pretty
talk
good,
about
and
it.
they're
Yeah,
gonna
we can
suck.
talk about it next time a little more if you want to go more prospect pool for teams. But I don't really see how you're going to swing
Clearly
27 points to a
You're
team
not.
that's going to compete.
But bringing in Babcock is not going to help you.
But at least it's a name. You got to have to bring.
Who
At some
cares?
point, you're going to have
You know
to
who
bring
else is a
something to
name?
bring in seed
Gerard Gallant.
But
Gerard
it's-
Gallant. Peter Laviolette.
That doesn't have
Bruce
the
Boudreau.
same.
All of
does
these
that have
guys
the same
who
draw
didn't
though
get
as a
fired
Detroit
for being
fan.
an idiot.
As a
All
Detroit
of
Red
these-
Wings fan though, would that have the same draw?
Mike Babcock does not have that draw anymore, man. Nobody wants Mike Babcock
For
coaching their
Detroit
team.
fans, you don't know.
No, you don't.
Talk to some
You
Detroit-
know exactly. You know exactly that they don't want him. After
They-
what he did
they
in
love
Toronto, he lost himself a ton of NHL
Steve
jobs.
Yzerman's there. He's gonna bring him in. He's gonna
No.
go talk to the boys. He's gonna say, "Listen, I can talk to him." Brendan Shanahan did it with the Maple Leafs. Steve Yzerman's gonna
Yeah,
do it.
before you knew that this was what Mike Babcock was. Like, you knew he was an asshole, but like this is another level.
He got fired. He could have a life-changing experience. You don't know what he's doing his offseason.
He's too stubborn. That guy wouldn't
You
even
don't
change his lines. You think he's going to change his lifestyle? No.
Give him a
No
chance.
chance. No chance. Back
Take
to
a
Nate
chance
McKinnon real
on
quick.
me. Take a chance on me.
Do you know Nate McKinnon's actually averaging less time on ice than he was last year?
Probably.
Like a whole minute less
Really?
each game.
Well,
Yeah.
like he's getting double shifted. I watched it and
It
he's
seems like it, right?
But also the thing is though they have the highest goal differential right now. Like they're like plus 40 something. It was ridiculous. And like Tampa was next with like a plus 20. Like not even close, right? But
No.
It just goes to show like they're taking advantage of the time on the ice and like all lines were scoring to the point where like there's points where you need to double shift him in games like against Tampa Bay, and when Mikko Rantanen goes down, like now you need more like offensive output from him, but he's also able to just do so much in so little and then rest and have less time on ice.
He's incredible. He's incredible.
I'm not denying that.
He's incredible.
Top 3 player in the league, man.
Top 2.
Top 3.
I don't know who you'd put above him.
It's not really above him though. It's just like it's hard to compare for me when I say it. It's like, yeah, there's Nathan McKinnon, but then as soon as I throw Patrick Kane's name in there, because they're not the same position, that's completely impossible for me to say that they're.
Patrick Kane is not Nate McKinnon. I'm sorry.
Dude, okay, I understand.
He's an incredible
that.
hockey player, but he's not Nate McKinnon.
Patrick Kane has done so much. Okay, we can get it another time.
In the
This
past,
will lead on for about half an hour, I believe. So.
I mean, we can sit here for half an hour and talk about it, but all I need to say is that Patrick Kane used to be a top 3 player in the NHL. What Patrick Kane is today is not even close to Nate McKinnon.
No, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
See, look, you just bored me with that talk. It was just I couldn't even listen to it anyway.
right. I think we're done. Odds are we missed a lot,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Brock Besser's out. I don't know.
I
if
don't
that was
think
a
so, man. Oh, okay.
did.
Yeah, we did.
um,
One thing I did see.
Shea Weber's back. That's another
Yeah,
one.
coming back.
Yeah.
One thing I did see that was really cool was the Vegas New York game, the Islanders game. Ryan Reeves and I can't remember his first name, but Johnston was his last name, number 32, and they just huge boys stood at the line and just said, "Yep, we're gonna throw hands." And Ryan Reeves looked like he finally met his match. Like for the first time ever, this kid when he hit him, he looked like he stunned Reeves like once or twice. When Reeves hit him, he looked like he kind of stunned him. But they both stood tall until like the refs came in and took them apart. And even Reeves was kind of shaking his head like, "Yeah, that was a good fight."
Is your
Like
mic
it was
loose or something?
no,
You're getting like fuzzy-ish.
you're all fuzzy. You're warm and
Just-
fuzzy.
There's like a white noise in the background of you. Oh, it might be gone. Speak.
Speak. I'm not a dog.
Yeah, no, there's a weird white noise. Hopefully that doesn't come through, but
The
oh
whole
well.
time?
Just this last little bit.
Wow.
Just when you're on that little rant.
On that little rant.
Yeah,
On
anyways.
on that little rant then.
We probably missed a lot. That's okay. We
That's
can
where
always
you
get
have
to it.
comment.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.
Appreciate it,
Follow
yeah.
us. Follow us as always at the A Sports, at Two Way Hockey on Twitter and Instagram, on Facebook. Visit theasports.com. Like and subscribe.
Do it
Tell
all.
all your friends.
Tell all their friends.
Tell them to tell their friends. Get all the friends. And yeah.
Buy the merchandise.
Buy merch.
Hit us up on the Spotify, on everything else.
Spotify, iTunes, Podbean. We're not on
Podbean,
Google
wow.
yet, and I'm working on it. but
Wow, you're
we'll
working
get
on
there.
it. Working hard.
I'm working hard.
He's a hard
I work hard.
working man.
I work hard for my money. Dun, 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 so hard for... All right. That's enough of us. Have a good one. Cheers.